in store for you. The grandest spectacle, the greatest show of all, Johnny Bang Bang Show. Here's your host, Robert Gifford.
It's me. I am the one and only, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Bang Bang is the game. Robert Gifford is the name. And as always, I'm sitting here with my sidekick, my partner in crime, Grant No Mark Clark. How you doing, buddy?
Nice. Thank you for that introduction. I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Good, man. We're really hoping this one, this take happens here because we've done 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, I know.
So, hey, you were saying something off camera real quick just before we get into wrestling, guys, and we're going to talk everything today. We're going to talk Smackdown, Raw from WWE side of things. We're going to talk about Dynamite from AEW. Also, build up to AEW Revolution, which will be taking place 1 week's time. Might even touch on the upset of the year candidate, maybe. Tommy Fury upsetting Jake Paul this evening here in Saudi Arabia. He is no longer undefeated. He has blemished his record. I don't know what your thoughts are on that real quick.
We can talk about it. I mean, he finally fought a real boxer. So.
Finally, a mediocre real boxer.
Yeah, so, I mean, he made that deal with him that he get doubled his money if he beat him.
Yeah.
So good for Fury, I guess.
Essentially, Jake Paul made no money tonight. Anyways, you said something to me. I was saying you here in Michigan, everybody, we've lost power for 5-6 days due to an ice storm. And you were saying to me, I asked you the question, would you rather have power or the internet? And I know before you guys ask, you can't have one without the other, but let's just say you could for fun. You said you didn't have any internet growing up.
No, didn't. So grew up a couple miles down the road from here out in the woods, never had internet growing up. So, the era of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, playing with your buddies, never had that. I was stuck playing against my brother, just playing like AI stuff for growing up.
Hey, I bet you and your brother are pretty damn close, though.
But we would hate each other for the moments there. I always ended up winning, of course. But, never had it. We had dial-up, but, that takes forever. But you couldn't do anything when iTunes was popping and you could download songs. I mean, people still did that. It would take 2 hours to download one song. So it
just wasn't worth it.
So, and then going off to college and having internet, fantastic. I love internet. I would never live without it.
What Grant's saying is that he never left the bedroom.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much.
We'll just leave that there. Hey, welcome everybody. Johnny Bang Bang. We got a new setup here. We're going to be hopefully getting a little bit better every week. You guys can always catch us on Apple, Spotify, both of those, and then YouTube, of course. And then hopefully we're going to be building up the show, getting enough, followers, and then we'll be launching on Twitch, and we'll let you know when that happens. We're just trying to learn a little bit more about the copyright issues and some of the fair use policies and things that we need to tackle and put in place before we think we're going to do all these segments. And then every time we upload, we get banned. I don't want that.
Hey, we get to Twitch. Anybody that's a gamer, let me know. I'll take you on in WWE 2K. Whenever AEW's game comes out, I'll take on anybody.
Dude, so I think March, in a couple weeks, you've got the release of 2K23, right?
2-3, yep, with John Cena on the cover.
Much props, well-deserved.
Really excited for it, actually.
I'm a big general manager mode.
Oh, okay. I like the universe mode. I like creating random people or downloading the community creations and just letting them go at it, simulating it.
Oh, you're simulating too?
Yeah. And, sometimes commentating over it, So I do occasionally post some stuff on my own personal Twitch page. So stuff like that. It's always fun.
Pitch it. What is it? What is your personal?
I think my handle's Sonny Batunski 55. Don't ask me why it's that. It's always been everything's that. But yeah, if we can get a Twitch going and once those games come out, man, I would love to do stuff like that. If people want to join in. So down the road, we definitely look into that. For sure.
It's so funny because growing up, my friends and I, we would go to each other's houses and we would play general manager mode for Madden.
Yeah.
Do the 30-year thing. And we just simulate everything. We were simulators. We never played one game against each other. It was just who could put together the best team and, win as many Super Bowls over a 30-year span.
See, he was the best.
Yeah.
With no skill involved.
Yeah.
Just draft.
Yeah, just draft. And then we would do free agency. We would tweak it a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So we had a busy week of wrestling as always. Not necessarily, the most exciting week of wrestling. But it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was the most boring week either. We're getting some storylines kind of continued on. Bloodline, obviously, we're going to pick up there because that's the number one storyline that just continues to get everybody talking. And I think that's where we should start. We'll start with the Bloodline. We'll start off with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on Raw. Just before we get there, what was your overall thoughts of Raw? 6 days removed from what it was. Is it rememberable? Is there segments that are going to stick with you over time, or is it just, another Monday night?
I mean, I think anything right now I'll go right into Bloodline with it. Anything with them is going to be memorable right now. And then also the stuff, I mean, and I don't know if it's maybe because, with Cody Rhodes, I mean, I think fans really want Sami, that main guy right now. But with Cody, that stuff's memorable too. So that's kind of the really little things I remember. The issued challenge we'll probably talk about for this upcoming week. That's memorable too. But yeah, I think the stuff with the Bloodline's what I'm remembering. KO, Sami, because we talked about it last week when we talked. So
yeah, and if you guys would have, if it ever would have aired, you guys would have known that we killed last week's predictions of what we thought was going to happen. Yeah, man, they started off the show with Sami Zayn. You have to, coming off of that weekend, and just kind of put in again what our thoughts was. We thought Montreal was just an exciting weekend on Friday, exciting on Saturday. They really, even with Sami not getting going over, he got over obviously, but not going over. That was awesome for that weekend. How was it going to carry over into Monday? And where were they? They were in Quebec.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and the crowd was all right. I mean, It wasn't like the same Montreal crowd, but they were still there. And Sami Zayn comes out and he is cutting his promo. And then we do finally get that interaction from KO, Sami Zayn that we were all waiting for. Did it go the road of which you thought it would? And were you happy with the road that they decided to take?
I think it went the way I thought, because when we were talking last week, if it would have aired, we mentioned multiple how at the end Kevin and Sami didn't. Sami was trying to wanted to brace him, and Kevin gave no love, and that's kind of how we similar were with this whole scenario. I mean, what Kevin said: I'll keep taking on the Bloodline by myself. I didn't need any help, and if you want somebody to take them on with you, go call your buddy Jay.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that was the line that I remember too.
Yeah,
that's the killer line.
I'm intrigued by that, because what is it? Because I think a lot of us thought, instantly, Sami doesn't go over with the win. It's going to be him and KO versus the Usos at Mania. And now, what is it? It's not. I don't know what we got planned.
I still think we're going to get there. We're still 3 days out from Mania at this point. When Raw aired, we were about 39, 40 days out. So we're still going to have 4 or 5 Raws and Smackdowns before we get there. The thing is with KO and Sami is that I actually really enjoyed that line, because it does keep intrigue. Mm-hmm. We're 100% still not sure which way it's going to go. But what I liked about it is it did, in my opinion, put a definitive line now that Sami has to choose.
Yeah.
So instead of KO coming out and being the guy that's like, dude, I understand what you did. I get it. You were going for the clout. You were accepted by someone, whatever, and kind of giving Sami a pass. He holds Sami's feet to the fire, and he basically just says, no, man, you sat there and watched it happen to me month after month after month. You not just happened to me, you were a part of it happening to me. And then, KO kind of goes down this road of where he's like, go get your buddy Jay to help you. And that's him drawing the line in the sand. It says, I will forever be on this side, fighting the Bloodline. They will forever be on that other side where you're at. I don't give a damn about.
Almost gave the idea of like, yeah, you saved me once at the Rumble.
Yeah.
We're even now. We're even.
Right.
But that doesn't mean anything else.
I'm going to go my way.
You can go your way. You still low blowed me at War Games.
Yeah.
So like we're not cool. So that, it's so intriguing that they did it that way.
So what do you think happens here next? Without getting into what happened on Friday, just with Kevin Owens and Sami, well, I guess you're going to have to get into Friday, a little bit, but just from what do you think as far as how do they get, if it is going to end up being the road of the Usos versus KO and Sami, what do they do to get Sami and KO finally a cohesive unit? Like, what do you think has to transpire?
I don't know. That's hard I haven't even thought about that in all honesty. Because you would think, that brother bond that they talk about all the time. They traveled the road together, all of that stuff, the battles they've had, the moments they've shared together.
Eventually,
that would eventually bring them back home. But I don't
I think what's going to happen is Sami, they're going to have to do it sooner than later if they're going to go this road, though, right? At some point, Jay, which we still are going to SmackDown, kind of, looking forward a little bit, going to SmackDown, Jay still hasn't really chosen a side yet.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? But at some point, they're going to have to, because I think what's going to have to happen is Sami is going to have to get beat down week in and week out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that way Kevin does eventually come back, because I don't see it happening the other way where Kevin's getting beat down, because he's made
his intentions
clear.
Yeah.
Right. And Sami's already kind of been the hero, and we want to see Sami get beat down each week, because that's what Sami would do. You know,
he's underdog.
He's the underdog.
Yeah, get the crap kicked out of you and then figure it out. So I think I agree with you. I think maybe they have their match. Jimmy and Sami have their match. Jay has to decide. Jay makes his decision. To go Jimmy KO.
Well,
I don't. But I do think Sami's probably going to get beat up a lot for a few weeks.
I think that's the only way he can get there. And if you don't get there, it's like you said, where the hell are they going with this thing? What could it possibly be? And could you get a fatal 4-way between Jimmy, Jay, Kevin, and Sami? Could you get a Solo in Jimmy versus Sami and Jay? Could you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different routes, but the one that I think, and this is where everybody what's your take on this? Are you somebody that predictability is bad? Because to me, I'm not. If it's predictable and it's the right story, the right, natural, organic finish to whatever it is, like, to me, predictable that Roman was going to win at the Elimination Chamber, and he should have won, in my opinion. You could have sold me that Sami could have won, but I think Roman should have won, and he did win, and it was predictable, but it was still, in my opinion, it was the right call. Would you rather just constantly throw you curveballs and not care about a story?
No, I mean, I'm fine with the predictableness if it, pays off in the end.
Yeah.
The curveball, I do like a curveball here and there, but like you said, it was the right call to have Roman win.
Yeah.
Because that does extend this kind of whole feud going on too, and people really do want to see that Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns match. So if you take that away from a certain feud, they're probably going to be mad too. So it's just
what would you rather see more? Would you rather see the Usos versus KO and Sami Zayn, or see 2 nights of title defense from Roman Reigns, first night versus Sami, next night versus Cody, or even flip them? Is there any desire in you to see Sami versus Roman again?
Not right now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Down the road, maybe, yeah. But I think we could get so much more out of this whole storyline that I think we have that second time if the storyline's maybe over then. But like if it was that quick, I think Roman still goes over at that point too. So it's like
I do too.
So it's like maybe I think you mentioned it. Maybe have that match at SummerSlam or something like that.
Down the road.
Have Sami, have the Bloodline, this tag team match because it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be very good.
4 great performers in the road. I was gonna say if we want to have this figure out the whole Jay thing, let's have a ladder custody of Jay Uso match between Sami and Jimmy.
Dude, I like that. I'm so into it.
Back.
Well, alluding to what happened on SmackDown, because we're going to stick with the Bloodline storyline, so we're going to jump from Monday to Friday now. Jimmy, Solo, Paul Heyman start the show. They're in the back, and they're discussing about whether or not Jay is in the building. Have you talked to Jay? Jimmy says he hasn't. Same thing that's been going on for the last couple weeks. And he says, but I'm going to call him out tonight. I'm going to talk to him in the middle of the ring. Eventually, later that night, Jimmy's standing in the middle of the ring, and Sami hijacks his conversation to his brother, and he starts trying to have a conversation with him himself. And that is where I found this story now is getting even more interesting, because he's trying his best to verbally see where KO is like physically trying to take down the Bloodline. Yeah. Sami is verbally trying to like come to your core. What I found that was interesting though was during the exchange, there was a moment of doubt, it looked like, in Jimmy's face where
agreed,
where Sami was getting through, right?
Because it was all true. And like the moment, when the Bloodline started and they had the honorary Uso, it was all, Jimmy they were the guys. They were doing the handshake. the feeling oozy kind of stuff like that.
He was the bridge that allowed Sami to come in.
And then when him and Jay were good, I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about the Jimmy Sami thing. And it was like, oh yeah, Jay and Sami are dogs. So when he brought that up, he's like, we were dogs. There's no honorary Oos without you.
Right.
Stuff like that. Man, that really actually, I mean, I got emotional watching that part too.
But didn't you find it crazy though that they definitively, like, instead of letting that linger for a week and then because Jay came out before Jimmy ever attacked Sami.
Yeah.
You could have had all that. I thought for a minute there, it was just going to linger there. And where's Jimmy stand? Even though they alluded to the fact that Roman's coming next week and he's going to have to handle some business on Jay's side. Jimmy physically goes after Sami.
Yeah.
So Jimmy has chosen his side.
Yeah, he has chosen his side. He is
bloodline through and through. He is family. And I ultimately, even though Jay hasn't made his choice yet, I think his twin is how we're going to get there. Jay will choose Jimmy. He might not choose the bloodline, but he chooses Jimmy, which could ultimately lead to the Usos leaving the bloodline. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Blood is thicker than water. So, I'll say that was one hell of a kick. Kick because, I mean,
and they didn't even show it. They had to do the second angle the first
Jay's
time.
walking through it down, and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to go, and then
bam.
Kick.
I was glad to see Sami do that because I wasn't sure that Sami was going to retaliate with Jay right there. You know what I mean? So the fact that they actually went the route of Sami and that's what I thought. I thought it was a very definitive decision made by the creative that not only did Jimmy choose his side, but Sami stuck up for himself.
And going in, I just want to talk about that. The whole idea where Sami was bringing up, family doesn't make you test your loyalty every single week.
Right.
Was like, man,
dude,
he is hitting every moment right now. And it's like, but it keeps bringing up, like how I talked about last week, that Roman isn't a heel anymore. He is a super villain at this point. Like he is the ultimate bad guy. And it is, I mean, every single thing that Sami's talking about, it's like, man, yeah, Roman did do that. That's awful. He's an awful person.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like, man, the more and more, it's like, I can't wait to see someone take him down.
It's crazy because he's kind of who's the biggest villain from Game of Thrones in your opinion?
You're gonna hate me. I've never watched Game of Thrones.
You've never watched Game of Thrones? Oh my god!
I've maybe watched like an episode here or there. My dad, a huge fan.
Wow.
So it's just something I just haven't gotten into.
I'll sidestep that altogether. Then Roman is a super villain, and it's crazy because he wasn't on the show last week. He wasn't on the show this week. Paul Heyman right now, Jimmy J, Sami, and KO are all carrying that story, and you don't even have the tribal chief, on TV.
And Paul's the one carrying the Cody feud too. Like it's not even.
You're right. Well, let's get there then, because let's kind of transition then from Cody and Paul, and now the second bloodline story. It's not really a bloodline story, but it's the Roman being spread thin type thing, which just has to lead up to the implosion of the bloodline. It has to lead up to Roman's quote unquote downfall before he comes back even stronger at some point.
Yeah.
But where are you at right now with the build to Cody and Roman, between the last 2 weeks, what we've seen? Well, let's just say since Royal Rumble, since Cody became the definitive man. Like, where are you at with the build right now? You like it? Could it be better? What do you like? Where are you at with it?
I mean, it's good. I'm fine with it right now. I do wish Roman was a little more involved because, Paul Heyman, fantastic on the mic. He's always going to get some type of reaction. Talking about, that, Dusty loved you, but Roman Reigns was a son he wanted. And some of the stuff, getting at this week, especially it's funny that he had, the neck brace on and stuff like that. But I think Paul's doing a good job. And Cody's great on the mic as always too. He's a good baby face.
Yeah.
I just wish Roman was there.
Yeah, Roman's always going to be like the thing that just makes it feel bigger.
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's good though, because if he's there every week, and 4 weeks is a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you really do have to figure out how you stretch this thing. And I think starting with Paul Heyman is, just the constant, he's goes back to Chamber where he's doing those damn punches on Sami. You know, he's chosen his side. He's a lackey and he loves it. Yeah, it's just crazy because Paul, he drops the line about Roman is a happily married man, but I'm not. as if he had a shot with Brandy.
With Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah,
that
give me a break.
Too much Paul. But it's awesome. I like Paul whenever it's the same thing, similar to when he was Brock's advocate, that, you know, he's cutting the promos, all of that. And the moment Brock shows up, it's going to be a bigger moment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, within the next couple weeks when we see Roman, I think then we'll for sure be on this road to WrestleMania where Cody's going to hopefully win, so he can have his moment or something.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I'm kind of torn, man.
Yeah.
I'm torn because, like I told you last week when we were on this thing, I'm a business fan of this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure that Roman dropping the belts to Cody is the best thing for business because of what happened with Sami. Not that I thought Sami, you know, should have won, but here's where I'm at with Cody. Cody is much better in my eyes than I ever gave him credit for. As a matter of fact, if you go back 2-3 years ago when I started this thing, I crap on Cody all the time. I just shit on him all the time. Where I think he's done a really good job in his promos and coming on of saying relevant things, I do think a little bit's getting a little redundant. You know what I mean? And I fear that after he becomes a champion, it's like, all right, you got to get a SummerSlam now. And if you're going to be the face, you're going to be the guy, you're going to have a run. You know what I mean? And if you get the SummerSlam and you're already dropping that belt, then I fear that Cody might not ever get it back.
And I think we talked about it last week. I mentioned that Cody, I mean.
Yeah, say your line. Say your line.
Which one?
About always being number 2.
Yeah, he's the number 2 guy. I mean, all the in AEW, the fans wanted everybody else, and kind of similar here. Everybody wants Sami to be the champion over him. But I mean, the thing is, Cody, I mean, he's that. I talked about it last week, you know, the American flag outfits, stuff like that. I mean, look at the people like Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter. They had to, at some point, that runs.
You have to change it, yeah.
And he's so similar that, like, it's like I haven't seen a difference in his AEW, even when he was in AEW to now. It's the same exact character, and it's just, I think it's going to run thin because it's,
dude,
go America, plucky baby face.
Yeah.
Like, something in there. And I think if he wins over at Mania.
But remember, are we the audience for Cody? You know what I mean? Like, we're the smarter Mark type. We're the smarks. You know what I mean? So are we the audience for Cody? The audience for Cody is the kids. It's the superhero. It's the girls. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, there's those are the people that buy merchandise too, you know? So like, there's a room for that, and I get it. I just worry that our attention spans now with our baby faces, because it's so easy to be a villain in today with how smart all wrestling fans are now, but it's still so much more difficult to be a baby face.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
And I think our attention spans now, like you're saying, Cody, his gimmick is already kind of getting a little old. And the reality is AEW is only 3 years old?
Something like that, 3-4.
4 years old. And the American Nightmare, you know, this gimmick of his is 3 years. Hogan's gimmick was 10 years long before he made a change. You know what I mean? John Cena never made a change. He went from ruthless aggression. Once he became the guy, he was there for 15 years doing the same gimmick, which I still think Hogan and John Cena are the ultimate baby faces of all time. But can Cody do that if we're already tired? I think we get so impatient too quick these days, but I think it's also natural. You know what I mean? If you're naturally tired of his act, it's not like you sit there and go, should I be tired? No, it just is. You know what I mean?
Social media doesn't help either. Because, I mean, back then, I mean, you didn't really have when Hogan was going, Twitter wasn't a thing. And you could see about the time, people were kind of, the Cena sucks kind of started a lot more. Social media started its buzzing and stuff like that. So, I mean,
we consume it so much more every day and so much more, volumes than what we used to be able to. You used to have to wait. Yeah. So, like, if you've seen Hogan, you had to wait a week to see Hogan again. Yeah, now it's like I can just get it anytime I want. So that's where we're at with Jimmy and Jay and the whole Bloodline and Cody and Paul. Give me the best of the rest from the week that was WWE, because we're going to jump into AEW Revolution here in the next 5-6 minutes. So
the best of the rest.
Best of the rest. What's the next thing that's so relevant that we must talk about between Monday Night Raw, whether it be the women, Charlotte and Rhea, whether it be how over freaking Dom is and how good Dom is.
I got a quick fire, and we don't have to talk about all of them.
Sure.
First one, Lita is coming back and getting a chance to win a tag title.
Does anybody? Oh yeah. Is that a big deal or not?
I think it's a big deal. Once again, when I started watching wrestling was towards the end of the Attitude Era. So, I mean, I don't have the affinity for Lita as a lot of people do.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to flip that. Is that huge?
I think it's huge for Lita and Becky. Yeah, actually, I'm with it. I think it's a big deal. I don't necessarily care how I didn't really like the segment on Monday, the Ding Dong segment.
Yeah, okay.
But I think when they eventually get Ronda and Shayna versus Lita and Becky, I think that's a big deal. I agree.
Okay. Second one, you hit at it early. Dom is over. Anything Dom does right now is magic.
Dude, I stopped DVRing when Dom's on my TV. That's how good he is.
He's so good.
He's so good.
He's so hateable. I want to punch him in the face every single time I see him.
I love the mommy. I love how submissive he is. I love that he's a freaking beta. I love that.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Everything he does. Like, I thought that was one of his best mic work with him and Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
You're a beautiful woman. He didn't trip over his words. He's so in his element. He's so confident now. Yeah. We lost our damn camera again, which is fine. Let's get this going.
But while we do that, the calling, maybe you could be my queen. Oh, no, I have my queen. And just stuff like that is just, it's money.
Do you mind if I call you Queenie?
Yeah. And then, okay, last one I want to talk, and I think we should maybe talk about this. The MVP and Omos.
Oh, my God.
Calling out Brock Lesnar. What do you think about that? And do you actually think that is going to be the WrestleMania match?
Well, all right. You know what? Let's do this before I answer that. Let's spend 5 minutes on talking about WrestleMania, the card, and some of the people that are kind of left out. And I'll answer your question within that. Okay. This is what we currently know we have. We have Roman and Cody. We know we're going to have Becky, Lita, and Shayna and Ronda.
Yeah.
We have Bianca and Asuka.
Yeah.
We have Charlotte, and we have Rhea.
Probably going to have Edge and Finn.
You're going to have Dom and Ray.
Yeah. You're going to have. So we're missing key names.
Key names.
Bobby.
Bobby is supposed to be going up against Bray right now, the way they're setting this up. That means Brock's the outside looking in. Gunther, your Intercontinental Champion, still has nothing happening.
That's the big, because would you rather see
yes
Brock and Gunther or Brock and Omos?
100% rather see Brock and Gunther. However, I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't even know at this late stage of the hour how it's going to happen, because first of all, Gunther is the ring general. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar is a beast, but Brock Lesnar just took the coward's way out against Bobby Lashley.
Lobo and Lashley.
So you have to have something now that kind of, like, you can't take this version of Lesnar against a Gunther, unless like he is. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I wish we would have Lesnar kind of explain, because he hit him and then threw a temper tantrum, and that's all.
Yeah, and as he walked out, he was just like, "Yeah, oh well."
I'm fine with. I mean, I would like to see it. I would rather see that because of the moment. Call back to the Royal Rumble. Those two kind of going at it,
getting a spark from the crowd. They're all into it.
I would. I mean, I would love to see the Gunther just chop the shit out of Brock, and then how Brock responds. I think that would be awesome. And also, that's what I want, because it's going to tie into my Lashley match up. You want me to go over that one?
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Throw it back.
I'm giving you the pencil. Here we go.
Bray Wyatt called out both Lashley and Brock.
Yep.
We don't need to see Brock. I don't want to see that. I don't care about that right now. So we got we got Lashley. Let's see, a couple weeks. He gets attacked by Bray. You know who else gets attacked by Bray next Monday night? Omos.
Okay.
So how many people, let's go throwback. I love the Hurt Business.
Okay.
Big fan of the Hurt Business. So we got Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander.
Yep.
And let's say you throw Omos in there now.
Yes.
And maybe throw in someone else, because that makes it 6.
Okay.
And what does Bray Wyatt have? The Wyatt 6.
Well, we don't have it yet, but
don't have it,
apparently
but you could lead into something with that. Now, I don't know. You could do a standard match. You could do a...
Well, hang on. So Bray Wyatt did his Firefly Funhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it? Did you catch it? Did
I
you catch the end of it?
I was very confused what was going on the whole time.
As always. And hopefully we get some damn answers here soon.
Yeah.
But who is that?
I don't know.
Is that number 3? Is that the third person?
I just want to know what it is, because I mean, we got to, at some point this 6 has to pan out.
Well, because there was, I remember when Uncle Howdy, there was all the rumors on the internet that Howdy just was patented by the WWE.
Yeah, and
there was
Harper.
Uncle Harper. Is this Uncle Harper? And if so,
cool.
why do we have Uncle Howdy, Uncle Harper, and Bray Wyatt now? And so I see what you're saying. You're saying there might be like a 6 versus 6 thing.
6 something going on, or maybe I don't know.
I just don't know that you can get that story done in 4 weeks. You could, but like, would it be the payoff that you want?
No, I don't think it would be the payoff. I think that would maybe be something it continue on.
Gotcha.
It's just maybe the start of it is that WrestleMania match.
Okay.
Because what's Bray gonna do now? We don't have anything with Bray, and I mean, you don't bring him back, pay him a lot of money, and let him have all this creative freedom not to have him at your biggest show.
You absolutely. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. Right now, it's definitely set up like it's going to be Lashley and Wyatt on paper, and Omos versus Lesnar, and then that means what for Gunther? Are we just going to run back Sheamus and Gunther again?
And then they'll throw Drew in it, and they'll do a triple threat. And
but Drew's buddies with Sheamus.
Yeah, so it's I don't know.
Because right now, here's some of the names that are not currently Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. All of those guys are not en route to anything at WrestleMania at the moment. And I know they'll get there, but it's like New Day off the card right now.
Braun
off the card right now. Ricochet, off the card right now. I mean, you've got there's got to be some females I'm missing. Like Bayley still has nothing set up on the card right now. And I actually think some of the things that we've got on the card, it's setting up for to be a damn good WrestleMania.
I think it's going to be a very good WrestleMania.
We forgot about Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Asuka and Bianca.
We got that one. So, like, there's just names of people like Montez Ford. And that was something that I thought was it was disappointing that he wasn't even on the show Monday night.
We didn't even Austin Theory,
Cena.
Champion, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought he did a great job again. But man, I don't know. I'm with you. I think I like where your mind's going with the Hurt Business and the Wyatt 6 and things of that nature. I just don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, it'd be very quick, but if anybody's going to do it, WWE would do it.
Nobody wants. I think what happens is that here I don't want to see Lesnar and Omos. I think what you see them in the ring on Monday is going to be enough. But what happens from there?
Yeah.
Do we get? It would be interesting though. I'll tell you what. I would be with you if there was a Bray Wyatt encountering that went with that segment.
There has to be.
If there was something that came with that segment, even though Lesnar and Lashley are done talking to each other.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah. Well, we're not sure. Because Omos, you're right, is that missing link for the...
honestly, it could watch. And we're going to go Monday. They're going to... Omos, MVP are going to be in the ring. Brock Lesnar comes down. I bet you Lashley comes down. Lights go out. Bray Wyatt attacks both. We got a triple threat. And we still don't know what Gunther's doing. Throw him in there. Just let him start smacking people.
But time out, though. All right, so if you're going to go this route, are you really going to have... All right, so even if you went this triple threat route, you got Lashley, Lesnar, and Omos versus these three Wyatt members so far. The Wyatt members have to win.
Yeah, they have to. But you're
going to get... So you're telling me that Lashley, Lesnar Lesnar is going to be the goons?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just chalk it up to we don't know where that one's going at all.
We got four-ish weeks. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah, let's get on the road. Let's get on to Revolution, ladies and gentlemen. AEW is having their pay-per-view what was the last one they had? Was it 2 months ago?
Oh, would have been, yeah.
It's been a while since AEW.
It feels like it's been forever.
And where you at right now before we dive into the let's talk about the state of AEW. Okay.
Okay.
The fan base on Wednesday night at Dynamite was awesome, off the chains, loud as always, doing their thing. And Bubba Ray usually says this, or Bully Ray says this a lot on Busted Open. It's a really fun show. For people like you who are big wrestling fans,
AEW, I got it on.
Big wrestling fans for the sport of just wrestling, AEW is filled with a bunch of good wrestlers, great wrestlers. I feel, and this is where the disconnect comes in for me with AEW, is that I already have a little bias because I'm a WWE guy, but I acknowledge it and I try to look at it from an open standpoint. But the things I don't like about AEW are that every match is a great wrestling match, and there's nothing that I can sink my teeth in. Not nothing, but not as much, right? Now, with that being said, we're getting a couple good storylines that are kind of going along on the backs of what should be great wrestling matches. So let's start there. MJF is your Triple B, which we think stands for Big Beautiful Belt.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is. It's a beautiful looking belt, though.
It sure is.
A side note before we continue.
Yeah.
I love that AEW did that with the TNT title. Let each champion kind of tweak it a little bit, the design.
Oh, no, that's cool. Yeah.
And I think I like that MJF did this with the big belt.
Yeah.
I think they should do that because it just brings a little bit more character.
I got to tell you, I did not care for the AEW championship belt when it first came out, but seeing it around, because I didn't like the WCW belt, even though that was the original.
The big gold.
Yeah, big gold. There's a lot of history behind that one, and I get it. But like, I love the way the AEW championship looks on MJF right now.
Fantastic.
It is such Ric Flair from the 80s. It's so him, man. And he's carrying it well. However, and we'll talk about his title reign here in a second. Let's just dive into right now what we got set up for Revolution. Him, Daniel Bryan,
60-minute Iron Man match,
which is my favorite WrestleMania match of all time, is HBK and Bret Hart in a 60-man Iron Man match. Can MJF live up to the wrestling that you want out of your wrestling?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I'm not going to say it's not going to be that instant classic that you were talking about with HBK and the Hitman. But, I mean, he's got the right person in him against him to kind of lead him to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson,
going, I mean, it's going to be a fantastic match. I think people are going to be shocked by how MJF does in it because, I mean, we're used to an MJF match, 20-ish minutes and usually ends by some type of trickery, usually with the ring.
Tomfoolery shenanigans.
When Wardlow was in there, Wardlow doing something. We'll probably have some of that in the match, you got to admit. But I think we're going to be shocked that MJF's going to put on a performance that most people are going to be shocked by. And I'm really excited. I think he's going to it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I just asked the question. I think he's damn ready for it. I mean, I think he's in great shape. And this was brought up on Busted Open about a month ago, and this is a great question to talk about on the show, I think, is that AEW has AEW Dynamite. They have Friday Night Rampage, and they have AEW Dark.
And Dark Elevation as well.
Dark Elevation. But how often is MJF on any of those other three shows?
No, he's the Dynamite guy.
How often does MJF wrestle on Wednesday nights?
Barely any.
Barely any.
To the point where the last few weeks they had to do when they did their graphic where it's like the matches or what's on the card, it'd be MJF is contractually obligated to show up.
Yes, I love that.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Makes him, you want to hate him a little bit, hate him even more.
Yeah, and it's funny because he's in that villain status too to some people. I like the little extra things he does when the show goes off to commercial break. Have you seen those videos?
Oh yeah, or
he's
even like when
throwing gum at the kids,
just getting girls to kiss him, and then it's awesome.
Right in front of their boyfriend.
Oh, it's so good.
The little extra stuff is what makes him great, and the fact that he never breaks character is what makes him special. True. We're not saying anything new to you guys, but the biggest thing for me is that, and this is what they talked about on the show, if he was injured last year for a period of time, and then he was off the show for a period of time, how many matches do you think he had last year? In a 12-month, I'm going to give you a number. You just say over or under. 10.
I'd say over, but I'm not saying over by many. I'm saying he had under 15.
So
probably.
He's young. Let's just say he had 15. I'll give you 15, which is not a lot compared to Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
He's young. He didn't fight much last year, and I don't even know if he's wrestled this year. So here's the question. How is he going to go 60 minutes?
I mean, I'm just going to go off. Do you see the way he looks right now, though?
He does look great.
He's in shape. I mean, I know there's a difference between being what they say in shape and in wrestling.
Somebody
ring shape.
just accused him of being on steroids. I forget who it was, but
funny.
one of the previous or past wrestlers.
I mean, knowing him, he'd probably even say, "Yeah, I am," just to get like
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole response.
That
out
would
of it.
make him even better.
No, I don't know because that is probably the longest match. But I've listened to podcasts where wrestlers say that's their dream match.
Oh,
they have
no.
a 60-minute Iron Man match. So I mean,
Yeah, because you're working. Think about it this way, man. NFL, they're playing 3 hours. Yeah, I mean, within this, even though the game is only an hour. NBA, they're playing for 2.5 hours. These wrestlers go out there, they hit their spots for 10, 15 minutes. They're gone. They're done for the night.
Yeah.
This is a dream match because they get to work.
yeah,
You get to tell a story over a span of 60 minutes. You don't have to rush it.
there's going to be a lot of blood in that match. There's going to be.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad you said that. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to cut my co-host off here. We have 0 matches since the last time Jon Moxley has bled in a match. 0 matches have taken place since the last time Jon Moxley has bled in a match.
Let's blade, brother.
There's your Jon Moxley blood catch-up for the week, damn
Love
it.
Gosh. He's too good. Bleeding everywhere for no reason.
No
It's
reason
not
against
needed.
Evil Uno.
No, Evil Uno.
Give me a damn break.
Put some respect on Evil Uno's name.
Oh, I
first
will
off.
never. First of all, the Dark Order was something that I could never get behind. Anyways, so you have this confrontation between Bryan Danielson and MJF. Are you excited? Let me ask you this question. Are you a frequent buyer of AEW pay-per-views? Is it going to get an action out of you to actually pull the cash out and buy the pay-per-view?
Usually am. I usually buy.
Okay.
I'll watch them. Either that or split it, with like some friends and watch it.
Sure.
Have a watching party with it. Side note, this one, it confuses me because this is on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I love that AEWs were on Saturdays. It's cool. But yeah, no, this isn't the match that would make me want to buy it, though.
This is not the one.
This is not the one. Because there's certain matches I like more, and we'll probably get to it. Mentioning Mr. Bloody Jon Moxley, that match actually kind of makes me want to watch it just because I like the stipulation.
Okay.
The card is looking like it has a bunch of different match types in it, so it's cool. But
I would say this card has 4 matches that intrigue me.
there's not many matches announced, so.
Well, it might only be the 4 matches then.
Yeah. So.
But I'm going to be 100% honest with you. So like, this is where you and I are going to. Intrigue is the best word I can give for any of it. If I missed this pay-per-view, it wouldn't break my heart. But what I'm trying to say is that because they intrigue me and I pay attention to it, like I'm just not. Bryan Danielson to me and MJF, although I've never seen them fight in a 60-minute match, I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it. And I don't know why, but I don't need to see it. I'm more interested personally in the Starks Jericho match just to see, are they going to let this kid win again against Jericho? But
it's almost we've almost this seems like this is Bryan Danielson's match in AEW because look how many.
But he's going to lose.
He had one against Omega that went long. He had one against Hangman that went long. And
that Omega one was
they all lost.
Classic, and they opened the match with it. Yeah.
So it's like we're gonna get what we're used to out of a Bryan Danielson match. I mean,
no, and it's gonna be great. And you know what? This is the part where Bully Ray's right, is that it is hard not to sink in. Once you're there and watching it, it's hard not to buy into it because the crowd buys into all of it, right? It's like right away when they're singing Judas Priest or Judas
by Fozzy.
Yeah, by Fozzy. When they're singing that, it's like, dude, I'm already sold. He could be fighting a broomstick. I'm in it. You know what I mean?
I go watch Japanese wrestling. You can watch that. So I mean,
but yeah, so I'm with you. I think Bryan Danielson, MJF is going to be exciting. It's probably going to be, it's going to be the one everybody's talking about afterwards. Well, I don't know.
do you think they'll end it in a tie?
No, I don't.
You think there's going to be a clear cut MJF wins?
There has to be. There has to be, because this is where I wanted to talk about the state of AEW right now. They keep losing ratings. So now we're at a point now where it's funny how NXT 2.0, which we've already talked about jokingly last week, is not a show that is nearly on the same level as like an AEW or Raw or SmackDown. But like, we're talking like 150,000 difference now.
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite desperately needs, I feel like this is where they're stuck right now. They're stuck with Jericho, Moxley, Danielson, MJF, and CM Punk being there kind of gave them, you know what I mean? Omega's now stuck in this trios thing.
He's really only used on Rampage.
On Rampage right now. I just feel like they need more.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you're going to get more right now, because everybody's so excited that Triple H is running things. And I think Tony Khan has kind of shown some immaturity over the last couple, go-arounds. And I got to tell you, this is just my opinion, but Tony Khan, you got Adam Cole coming, right? He's coming. And I think he can be that star, especially fits perfectly into that AEW mold, right? That's what you need to get. Mm-hmm. Cole, MJF, and I think you need to get it sooner rather than later.
Those guys who are, sports entertainers, but they can still, because
carry the mic.
And your AEW fans are going to be more like me. They want that action base so that can wrestle, but they can still cut the promo, do everything that you need to do.
And Adam Cole can do all of that.
He can.
Yeah.
Before we continue, I want to talk about, so how do you feel, and this is going from Dynamite, about Tony Khan's big announcement that was...
That's what I'm saying. I think, and look, I was a Vince McMahon guy, but I do think I'm doing an objective thing here. I think he's playing with fire. If you keep saying you have a big announcement...
And then introduce a all-access documentary...
It's not a big announcement, and you're gonna lose the effect. If everything's special, therefore nothing is special.
Yeah.
And that's what Tony Khan's doing. His last couple big announcements haven't been what they need to be.
The last big announcement I think Tony Khan had, that was a big announcement, was him buying Ring of Honor.
That was huge. And I think if Ring of Honor gets a TV deal or something like that, that would be a big deal to your style fans.
I'm not gonna lie, when he said I have a big announcement, I thought it was that CM Punk was coming back.
You thought so?
Yeah, because side note, give me my pen and paper so I can write my match. Brett's Boys, CM Punk, FTR versus Trios title versus Omega and the Bucks. Book it right now. You're making a shit ton of money.
And that's the spark they need.
Vince McMahon puppet coming out the window saying this is such good shit. Right there. Tony Khan, you can have that one for free. You probably have thought about that many times already.
I think everybody has, right? And I think that's the thing that I think with CM Punk comes back, he is the conversation starter. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, he's back. I don't know that CM Punk is coming back.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Tony Khan would have him back in a heartbeat. I think he could tell great stories with the elite and
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, that he's coming back.
I don't think he will either.
He's too proud of a guy.
Yeah, and he's happy doing whatever he's doing now.
What is he doing?
Whatever he wants, talking shit while he's commentating on MMA
Pride
fights,
or whatever. Oh yeah.
Showing up to New Japan's United States show, sitting in the crowd, does whatever he wants.
But don't you think with Tony saying, dude, I hate to do this. I want to do this for another show, so we'll do this at another time. But what made Eric Bischoff great in the Monday Night Wars, eventually Eric started showing some vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And then Vince Russo got it put in there, and that was just a clown show after that. And it's not like Vince Russo isn't capable of great things. He had some great storylines along the way. But he just ultimately went, I just got to keep shocking and awing. Tony Khan, I think, is smarter than a Vince Russo for sure. I'm not necessarily sure that he's got the pocketbooks and the passion and love for pro wrestling, right? Yeah. Which I love. And when he was making all these splashes by all these big names, I think that was like everybody saying, oh, Tony Khan he'll go out and get anybody. There was a twofold reason there, though. WWE was stale.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, they said everybody was out of touch. Stuck in his ways, and it left a lot of these guys hungry for more. Tony Khan was saying, giving them those opportunities. Well, where I'm at with Tony Khan right now, the throwing the shade at Ariel Helwani, you know what I mean? The Elite, the All Brawl that took place with CM Punk in them, and then now like these small little things. It's like Tony Khan to me needs to tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, he needs to be the grown up, be the boss,
be the boss,
be the boss. And I think if he could do that, I think they'll be fine.
They'll be fine because I do think that there's interesting like Samoa Joe. He could be utilized more.
Yeah,
if you could trust him to stay fucking healthy.
Yeah.
Well, I dropped an F-bomb, but that's okay. It's our show. We can do what we want.
It's true though. I mean, big guy is injury prone. Love Samoa Joe.
So it's not like they don't have guys there. It's just that like the truth be told is like Keith Lee. He's been there. He was supposed to be utilized better there. He's
Put him
not.
in a tag team, and then they left it, and then you pretty much used him to build Swerve into something.
And finally, we're getting something from the House of Black that we want. Finally, but damn, it took so long to get that going.
Do you think they'll be on the Revolution card? So right now
I think you would have to.
We have 6 matches on the Revolution card that are announced.
I know 4, so give me the 6.
All right, so do we want to just go through them and then we'll talk about them after?
Yeah. Let's go through them. Yep, go through them all.
MJF, Danielson, Iron Man match for the title.
Okay.
For the BBB. Moxley, Hangman Page in a Texas death match. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for the TNT Championship. Jamie Hayter, Saraya, Ruby Soho for the AEW Women's Championship. The Guns, the Acclaimed, versus, so we know now it's going to be Jarrett and Lethal.
Yep.
And someone else who wins the match this week on Wednesday, the Tag Battle Royal. So we don't know at this moment. And then Jericho Starks, everybody's barred from the ring.
Yeah.
For that one.
And that's more of my flavor. I'm going to let you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to give my man the mic. He can talk about Adam Hangman Page and John Moxley and the Texas death match. I am so just done with those types of matches. It's John Moxley is his entire career in AEW, it feels like to me, or post WWE. Take the floor. Sell me on why I should give a damn about this match.
So, I mean, let's blade, brother. First off, there's going to be blood in that match.
There will be blood.
I don't know. I like the style of that. To call it a death match, I mean, that's just creating it because, I mean, if you watch GCW or any CZW, you know what a real death match is, and these are nowhere near that.
What's the appeal to it? What do you like about it? The car crash?
I just like seeing some of the stuff
that they come up with.
Yeah, because it's always creative. Like,
because don't get me wrong, I like a spot is like the next guy, but like it's just so many spots.
And I think that, you know, I don't care. I mean, I like John Moxley, I like Hangman Page. I'm kind of tired of seeing them wrestle each other at this point. But I mean, Moxley, that's his type of style. I mean, he was CZW, he was GCW champ. Like, I think it's just going to be a fantastic match. There's going to be a lot of carnage. And after that, when it's done, it's going to be okay. You know, that was a fun little match to watch. I know I'm not doing the greatest job selling it because, I mean, personally, I like Extreme Rules. Those types of matches are some of my favorite because I like seeing the innovation of bringing in weapons.
You like the innovation of violence.
I like the bringing in some tables, bringing in some ladders, seeing what happens.
Sure.
I love that stuff because, like I said, I like the spot aspect of it. I like the wrestling part. I want to see someone do something crazy off of something.
So then I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I don't think I'm going too far to say that you're probably a fan of action movies.
Yes.
Okay. So this is where the best that I can explain the difference, ladies and gentlemen.
Blowing stuff up.
Oh, yeah. So you're like a John Wick guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Those movies do nothing for me. But so this is good, though. This is kind of giving our audience a little bit of like who we are. So I'm a guy that likes action in his movies, but the movie isn't around the action. Yeah. John Wick, all those movies are based on the action, right? You know what I mean? So like to me, especially if I like John Wick 1, it would be, I'll give you an example. I love Fast and Furious, the original. Well, I hated 2 and 3, but 1, 4, and 5. After it got to 6 and beyond, I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. This is kind of past what the original premise of the show used to be. And now I just seen Fast 10's preview, and it's just not, I won't buy a ticket to it. You know what I mean? Unless like my girl wanted to go or something, you know? But with that being said, they get to 10 because people do love that stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
does it even matter if it's ridiculous and far fetched and you don't care? Does it like if it's so far removed from reality? Does it even bother you anymore?
Yeah, not anymore. I like shit like that, dude. I don't know. Literally the moment that Moxley said in a Texas death match, I was sold.
You were sold.
I was sold at that point.
So what if I just said Texas death match, but we're going with Evil Uno versus Jungle Boy? You don't care. There's a Texas.
I'm sold for that anyway. I don't even care. I love Evil Uno, man.
How can you love Evil Uno? Oh my God.
He was Brody Lee's #1 guy.
I love Brody Lee, but there was some, dude. This is the thing about loving. We're starting this new podcast. We're getting to know each other a little bit, right? Love Brody Lee. I loved the original incarnation of the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Brody Lee wasn't in AEW that long.
No.
There's been this infatuation with Brody Lee. And like, I get it. All those guys, doesn't matter if they're in AEW or not. They're all from wrestling family, right? But there was some like trauma porn that took place after he died for a long time. It's like AEW paid this tribute to Brody Lee, which I'm all for it. I get it. I'm not saying, but it felt like it was like every damn week for a while. And I'm like, he wasn't there that long.
I mean, they still do.
They still kind of do. And they still kind of do.
It's Wednesday. You know what that means? That's what he would say.
But that's the thing is, to me, it's like, man, I don't mind those little things, but like for a while there, dude, it was like Brody Lee. Oh yeah, good call. Brody Lee to me kind of became like he was the Babe Ruth of AEW wrestling for a while. If they're going to do that for Brody Lee, what the hell are they going to do for the Young Bucks and Omega when, you know what I mean? If something, God forbid, was to happen.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Make a whole brand show for him. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you get what I'm saying there a little bit? It's like some of it just gets a little bit, but
to go back to the point, like, I think a lot of it for me is, like I said, I like the Extreme Rules match, and that's one of the WWE's big ones. But when they do an Extreme Rules match, table. Maybe.
Table.
Chair,
No.
maybe.
Yeah.
Anytime you see them bring out a thumbtack, it's like, oh, we're getting crazy here tonight.
Right.
AEW's a little bit better to they brought out the light tubes and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So it's that kind of thing. I like this style of match. We're finally getting to see it. No way are we going to get to like the CZW Tournament of Death stuff where people are actually dying. Yeah. Almost and stuff like that. But I do like to see the little bit more aggressive in it.
See, okay, and fair enough, man. I'll let you have it. It's not my palate, but we'll talk more about that another day.
Match of the year. I'm kidding. All right. So then, hey, you got anything that you want to mention about Samoa Joe versus Wardlow?
Well, yeah, let's talk about it for a second if we can. I mean, Wardlow was he was the biggest thing in AEW a year ago.
Yeah.
He was built up like Bill Goldberg, and now he's sitting here fighting Samoa Joe, and it's what? Where do you think it's going to fall on the match or in the card? Middle of the card?
Probably middle.
And are you giving it longer than 10 minutes?
Let's see. I bet the tag match opens.
Yep.
And then I bet we go right into Stark,
Jericho. I could see that.
And then I bet we go to the women's match and then Samoa Joe, and that match people are going to be tired by that
It's going to be tired by that point, and it's going to be designed by that. And it's just like, how did we fall so much with Wardlow?
I don't know. When he split from MJF, and they had him go through all the trials and tribulations just to have a match, and he squashed MJF. That was awesome. I was like, man, Wardlow is going to be the best. And then he wins the TNT title and
and I think they think
loses it in a triple threat that he didn't even.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't, but they didn't do anything with that after that. He was done.
And then they cut his hair, and it's like, okay,
that's it. That was it, man. And that was the downfall of Wardlow. So like that's my only thoughts is that
I do think this. I mean, it could be a match that ends up stealing the show, though.
I'm with you.
Men are Samoa Joe's a fantastic wrestler, fantastic promo. And
who do you think has to go over? I think Wardlow has to win.
I think Wardlow wins because Joe has another title. He has the Ring of Honor title, and I think they're good. I think that's the thing. I know Tony. They have Ring of Honor, and they don't have anything really set in place right now. but I think they're going to take Joe and make him kind of a cornerstone of that Ring of Honor.
I really think they need to. I'm a proponent of. I get the Forbidden Door is cool for wrestling fans, and I understand that. But to me, I need a little more organization.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm watching, AEW Dynamite, but this guy's got an ROH belt. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, keep it clean, separate it.
So I think Wardlow's going to go over because, I mean, his run with the belt wasn't that long and didn't really do much. So give him another shot, see what he can do now.
Okay.
All right. Then we got the women's match. Hayter, Saraya, Soho. What do you got? What are you thinking of this?
I think you got to go Saraya.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are you going?
I think Hayter retains.
Is that the right call?
I don't know.
Do you like Hayter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like Jimmy Hayter? I mean, I think they build her up as, the lackey for Baker for the longest time, and then she got her shot, won it.
Yeah.
I don't think her title is the only thing I could see her losing is her. Can you tell me one match that she's had that really?
No.
Yeah.
And that's the point. And I think that's the point is it's where it's like with Saraya, she doesn't need it.
No, she doesn't need it.
But I think AEW needs her to have it.
To bring that. Because people know Paige is.
To me,
her name has changed.
I will say this for all of the things that I crap on AEW about. I do think that the organic climb of Britt Baker, I think if the belt's not on her, like you could convince me that she should always be the champion because she's that over and that good. I think she's the only woman in AEW, AEW original that could come in WWE and make some noise.
Yeah. Because
I think their roster's pretty weak as far as the female roster. Yeah. So, you know what I mean?
I don't. It almost feels like Soho was thrown in this match last minute too. So I don't think she's going to win, but I don't know. I'll be fine with whoever wins it in that one. Not going to be too mad.
I'm not too invested, but I think
it will be a good match though. And it'll get a lot more. People aren't going to look at it and be like, oh, the typical not to be mean or anything. Most people, wrestling fans, are like, oh, it's the bathroom break when the women's match is on. I think this is a match.
But I think it's the bathroom break at AEW right now.
It is. It is. It is.
See, and I don't think that's the sentiment anymore for women's wrestling at all anymore.
Yeah, no, not anymore. But I think that, like you said, AEW, that would be what it would be. Sure. But I think it's going to surprise a lot of people, and they're going to put on a great match. All right, the tag match. So Guns, Acclaimed, and then Jarrett, Lethal, and whoever. Who do you think is going to be the last team in it?
I don't think Acclaim should have ever lost the belts.
Well, I agree with that too.
But here's the question. So is it going to be, are they going to win and they're going to wrong or right or wrong, or are they just going to keep it on the Guns?
If the Guns win, it's the only way they win is because Daddy Ass comes back home.
Daddy Ass, baby.
Comes back home and helps his boys. That's the only way.
If you were to do that and continue the story, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I think that's what you do. They win. The Acclaim continue it. We get another match.
I think what they've done, though, is that, and I would be fine with Acclaim chasing for a while, which is because they're such fan favorites now, which that's fine. But like,
good.
You had already made them the champions, so you should have stuck with that.
Yeah, I agree. But who do you think is going to be the last team in it? While you think, I'm going to pull up. So these were the teams that were in it last week. So you had Roosh and Preston Vance, Jarrett and Lethal won. The Lucha Bros, the Butcher and the Blade, Top Flight.
Butcher and the Blade.
You think Butcher and Blade? All right. And then there's Best Friends, Silver Reynolds, Aussie Open.
Well, I don't know. It could be Best Friend. I don't know, man.
Angelo Park and Matt Menard and Arya Davari and Tony Nese. I don't know how many of those are going to be in there, but you can best.
In there again, yeah.
Butcher and the Blade was my number 2. I think Best Friends are going to get it.
Well, all right. You've got Party. Who's the third team in there right now? Like fun.
Jarrett, Lethal.
I think you got Butcher and Blade. I think you got to mix it up.
It's kind of a big.
You got to get some big bodies in there. I that would be my guess. We'll sit here in a week's time and we'll find out how wrong we are.
They should be in it though. I mean, that's a team that needs a better
push. Yeah, I agree.
So good. They got a good look. The Butcher is just fantastic.
Yeah, Bunny.
So
the whole thing, man. I'm with it.
All right, and then I will give you, because I don't care much about this match, I want you to sell me on Ricky Starks versus Jericho. Nobody allowed at the ring, even though literally Ricky Starks has one friend that was going to be there, and the whole JAS were going to be there.
Okay, I'm going to sell you on this, and I'm going to sell you with a transition over to we're going to call this our wrap-up moment of the week. We're going to call this our spotlight moment.
Okay.
All right, our spotlight of the week, and I'm going to spotlight two guys here for you. I'm going to spotlight Starks, and I think he's got some charisma, right? And I think he's starting to showcase that a little bit more, and I think the crowd is starting to buy into it a little bit more, such as another gentleman on a different program. I'll get there. Whenever Jericho touches something, he usually makes it better when he leaves it. When I love the way he kind of did the reverse psychology on, coming out to the ring and saying, I will never take this match. And then he was getting ready to go backstage, and then Starks offers the open challenge, and then out comes, I forget who
Peter
it was.
Avalon.
Peter Avalon. And then Jericho's like, no, I can't handle this. And then he does it. So I really liked how they set that up on Wednesday night on Dynamite. But what I think is that I think you're going to take if you wanted me to sell you on just the match portion of it, Jericho can still go. He's a step slower, a little bit bigger, right? But he can still go. And I think Starks is going to give you those moments. And I think he can tell a story emotionally because the crowd is starting to get behind him. Whether or not it's going to be a clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring and Starks wins that way, or JAS comes out and breaks the rules and there's a disqualification, I don't know what will happen. But ultimately, I think what's going to happen is I think you're still going to get that in-ring match that you want, but I think you're going to get just a nice, clean match where the rest of the night there's just going to be tomfoolery, I think. And I think, at least the way it's setting up, is that Jericho is going to buy in and not have JAS come out. I think you're going to get an actual clean match in the ring that's just traditional one man versus one man. You know what I mean? It's not an Iron Man match. It's not a Texas Death match. I think it's just going to be an old school wrestling match, and I don't really know who's going to win it.
It's one of two singles matches that's no stipulation.
Exactly. So, and that's where I'm at with it. So I think Starks is my spotlight guy in AEW right now, who's starting to kind of gain my attention a little bit, and I think the ceiling is a little bit higher. I want to transition over to the spotlight of a young man that I think is going to be a big freaking deal in the WWE if they allow him to just go, okay? And that's L.A. Knight. Yeah, I think L.A. Knight is freaking gold, dude.
Oh, I agree.
You agree with this?
Oh, I agree. I love L.A. Yeah.
Yeah. Pipe down, I'm talking. Dude, everything he doesn't mince his words. I think he looks good physically, and he's got a freaking vocabulary, man. Did you see the back and forth that he had with the New Day or the Nerd Day or whatever they were?
He's so good. I mean, go if you have never watched an LA Knight or Eli Drake, if you want to go by that, just go watch. Search him on YouTube, watch some of his promos.
So educate me on his wrestling though, because I didn't watch too much of Eli Drake as a wrestler prior. Is he good in the ring?
He can go. I'm not going to say he's the best, but he's good.
Okay.
Had some very good moments in TNA.
Because I don't know who he is until he was LA Knight.
Yeah, TNA was good, and actually way before he was actually in WWE in the developmental system a long time ago.
Oh, he was,
and left. He was good. His run in NWA, very good. He's one of those guys, his mic works a lot better than his in-ring. Okay. But he can still go. He's going to put on a good match. I wish they would have done a little bit more with him with that Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Yeah. But I know what that was meant to do. But no, he
did his job. I actually think he made more people interested in that match than because I don't think anybody wanted to see a pitch black match. Yeah. We were intrigued because it's Bray, but that can only go so far. But yeah, man, I just wanted to throw that out. I think he's my spotlight wrestler of the week, just because I think he's doing his job week in and week out. And I do think WWE's seen it because they're putting a live mic in his hand, for 5 minutes at a time on a 2-hour show every single week on SmackDown. That's a big freaking deal, man. So
he's good. He's definitely someone that should get more. Can I do one?
Yeah, please. Yeah, please do.
I'm going to go on the women's side. And you know how much I don't care for NXT 2.0. And I'll probably joke about it a lot. But I want to talk about Tiffany Stratton.
I knew where you're going to go. Yep.
She is going to be a megastar.
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 Okay.
If Vince McMahon, I don't know what's going to happen, if Triple H is going to stay, if Vince is going to find his way back in. If Vince is in charge, she is going to be the next Charlotte Flair.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
I can see it. I can see it.
She has the look. She is halfway decent in the ring. But I do think even with Triple H in charge, I think she's going to be a future champion down the road. I mean, she has a fantastic moonsault.
Yep.
It is one of the best I've seen in a long time.
Is she too much like Charlotte Flair? Is she too, you know what I'm saying? Like, forget the route that they go with. Every girl has to have a different colored hair. Forget that. Is her in-ring work too much Charlotte Flair? Is it too?
No, because I think her in-ring works a little bit is different.
Okay.
And I think her character, where Charlotte's the queen, Tiffany Stratton's a spoiled brat, Barbie character. I think that's going to work well for her down the road. We'll see, because I think her gimmick almost is a
Chelsea Green type. Sorry. Main event. Okay.
Main roster where, like a lot of the people that struggled going from NXT to WWE is because, or to the main roster, because NXT's fan base was more like the AEW, more action.
Yeah.
Where Raw, SmackDown, they're looking for more something else. I think she's going to be successful there. Another person I want to throw out, Wesley.
Okay.
The current North American champion. Go back, watch the match he had with Dijak.
To start the show.
Fantastic match. Brought me back to old NXT days, black and gold brand. Loved every second of it. But he's one of those guys, I love watching him whenever he's on the mic. He's funny on the mic. When he was part of the Rascals with Wentz and Trey Miguel, they were fantastic. I love their stuff, making fun of that 70s show on TNA or on Impact. But I think one, his size is going to hinder him when he gets up to the main roster. Because he is a little bit smaller of a guy, but he's fantastic. If he was in AEW, I think he'd succeed more.
Have a place.
Yeah, because he's got all the moves, and they tend to highlight those little guys a little bit more. But I think he's one that he could do it all too. So
yeah, no, and I'm with you. I think it's so interesting because it's like NXT 2.0 has potential.
They do.
There's things there that do stand out, but. It just the color scheme, the branding of it all. It just it just doesn't feel like the black and gold. And I thought by now, and maybe it will still happen, as I thought the black and gold brand would come back.
I thought so too, because they almost had when Triple H took over, like a reimagining of it.
Yeah,
they got to change. They got to get you can see like the NXT 2.0 colors in the belt.
Yeah,
get that out of there.
Yeah.
Go back to the old belt. I will say, as much I do hate on NXT 2.0, I am so intrigued by the Grayson Waller Shawn Michaels thing that's going on. What is it? I don't think Shawn Michaels is going to wrestle a match against him.
Not. No.
But does that mean we're going to bring someone new in? Are we going to bring someone special?
I don't know.
Maybe a Jay White.
Jay White
maybe
is
a Dragon
rumored.
Lee.
Hey, Jay White is rumored to be making his way to WWE. That is the rumor right now.
So I'm excited to see where that leads. They have the wrestlers. I think Breaker, good.
There's potential.
Dragunov, you bringing him in. You got some of these other guys down there that are like.
I'm it's so funny that you say those things, because I tend to, and I think we've talked about this a little bit last week, but like I feel like you can just know. Like LA Knight, I just knew. Like if I would have seen him as Eli Drake, I probably would have knew. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can watch this guy and I'm like, okay, whoever this guy is, he's got the bass in his voice, he's got the projection, he's got the ease and the comfort when he speaks to the crowd. Like you just know. You know what I mean? I remember the first time I seen him, I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but like I'm kind of intrigued that Bray Wyatt's fighting him now. You know what I mean?
The best part, the thing I love about him is that he's so good at what he's doing, where WWE, yes, they are getting a little bit more. They're not going back to the TV 14, whatever, but they are getting a little bit more
edgier with their content.
He can still, even though it's a little bit less, it's more towards the PG. He's still doing it. Because when he was on the indie scene and all those, he was fantastic. He was
unhinged.
The promos were good, but he's still doing it.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of like there was a guy that used to be, well, hell, that you were watching during this time, Mr. Kennedy. I used to love Mr. Kennedy. I was a big fan of him because I thought every time he was on the mic, he kind of delivered.
The mic coming down from the...
Oh, it was so different, right? I think in NXT 2.0, there's some guys there that could like, because there was rumors for a while that Grayson was going to be a part of the Wyatt Six. Everybody was kind of hoping that he would play the one role of
him, Joe Gacy, a couple other people.
Which I would have thought that was cool, if they did it. But who knows where they're going to go with this route. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting, but like, yeah, there's definitely some people out there. The spotlight moment, I thought that was a good little transition there.
Yeah, it's cool. We get to bring out somebody. I mean,
that we don't normally get to talk about. You know,
I'll probably have some obscure independent wrestler here at some point soon, so don't worry about it.
Not worried at all, my friend. Hey, AEW Revolution, it's next Sunday. So what is your plans for that? What are you going to do? Are you going to watch it? Or are you?
Man, I have no idea at the moment.
We'll tell you what. We're going to get the show up, and hopefully over the next couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, we can get our Twitch going, build a little bit of a fan base, and then maybe we can do some watch parties in the future, do things like that.
That'd be awesome.
We'll have some fun with this. But ladies and gentlemen, Grant Clark, finish it up. What do you have? Your final thoughts on anything?
Just enjoy wrestling. Don't be, if someone's a diehard AEW fan and you're a diehard WWE fan, do not be an a-hole about it. Just enjoy wrestling. Everybody finds something different in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. Don't be a Jim Cornette. Don't just be an a-hole. But no, I enjoy doing this so far. It's awesome. Love getting to talk with Rob, talk about wrestling. So,
hey, as he said, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Indie wrestling is back. Territorial wrestling is back. And then you've got now 2 legitimate AEW, WWE shows for 2 very different audience members. As much as I don't understand how anybody would rock the AEW gear as much as my man over here, I'm glad that he is. I'm WWE. That's me, but I still respect and I am very appreciative that they're here because I think it makes the product of pro wrestling better.
Competition makes everybody get better.
Totally agree with that. I always wonder what would have happened between AEW and NXT if Triple H was really allowed to kind of fully, and I think he did for a while. Don't be wrong. It's just at the end of the day, you're rocking, Adam Cole, but he was kind of at the rehashing the same matches, the same superstars were fighting each other over there. I think he needed to kind of keep it a little more interesting.
Speaking of Adam Cole, he's supposed to return match this Wednesday.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Can't wait.
That's a big deal. Tony Khan told us it was, and his big announcement.
His big announcement that Adam Cole ended up making. So.
yeah, exactly. Gotta love some TK. Johnny Bang Bang, as always. Let's hit him with that outro. Wow, wow, wow. That isn't it. Let's do it this way. Oh, it ain't gonna play. Whatever. We'll see you next week. Peace out.